Is it recording? Yep. I can't believe I just recorded half the podcast and it wasn't even recording. You guys, it's like I've never done this before. Hello, and welcome to the Once Upon a Corgi Podcast. We are a Crafty Podcast coming to you from Southern Connecticut. I am your host, Gabby. We have Audrey and Iron underneath the tripods today. You can find us everywhere online as Gabagills and all my hand-dyed yarn at Once Upon a Corgi and onceuponacorgi.com. Thank you to all returning viewers for coming back and sticking with us through the break, and welcome to all new viewers for checking us out. This is episode 82 of said podcast, and it is our third year of podcasting, I think last week. Woo! Audrey, you're not very enthusiastic about this. She's sleeping. Not impressed. As I said, we have been on a little bit of a hiatus. Things sort of went crazy around the Rhinebeck season, and it's basically like I blinked and now it's December, but it's still not December. I did forget about November though. Halloween rolled around and my first thought was, oh no, I have a trunk show tomorrow. Then I realized that there was a whole month that I was missing. It was insane. I will go more into that in life stuff at the end of the show because it's not that crafting related. It's kind of got crafting in it, but not a lot. Oh god. There are show notes for this episode below the video, and we do have a Ravelry group with the Once Upon a Corgi podcast under the groups tab on Ravelry. My show notes are just over here, so if I keep looking that way, that is why. We do have a couple of announcements before we get into the crafting, one of which is the Pumpkin Make-Along has officially ended on Black Friday for the US. November 24th, I believe, was the date. That is a make-along of all things pumpkin-inspired, themed, colored, shaped, whatever you want it to be, as long as it's pumpkin-y, with my fellow Pump Queen, Joanna from Stitching the High Notes and Opera Joe on Instagram. We will be getting together via the internet and pulling prizes soon. We just have to coordinate that, and there will be a separate video. So if you want to watch a podcast but not listen to people win stuff, because you didn't enter because you don't like pumpkins or whatever your reason was. I don't know where I was going with this. Completely forgot. I should just go back to bed. It's only 4:30 in the afternoon. I should just go back to bed. Guys, what am I doing? As I was saying, there will be a separate video announcing all of the prizes. So there we go. The other thing we have going on is a trunk show at Knitty City, December 1st. That is this Saturday. I will be there from 11 a.m. to 6 p.m. And that is on the west side of New York City. I have done 2 trunk shows with them last year and they were so wonderful and I had such a good time. So I'm very excited to go back this year for their indie dyer designer fall winter extravaganza. I feel like they have a real name for it, but I never write it down. So I'll have the information for all that below, and it is also on the website. And I believe that is it for announcements and stuff. That will be the last show for my hand-dyed yarns of 2018, and I'm working on getting the list up for 2019. So if you are sort of close and want to travel, you can plan accordingly. Oh man, this is much better the second time around. Great. All right, oh wait, hold on, just kidding. On the pumpkin make-along, we do have a couple new prizes in. We have some more patterns that have been donated to the podcast, so I'm going to add those into the pumpkin make-along since that is happening, or was happening when they were donated, so those are here. And we also got a kit from Sam, who is behind Samantha Guerin Designs, and she has donated a skein of Mad Tasha Vintage, their worsted weight in the Kale colorway, and a copy of her Winter Brew hat, which I have knit up in the Cecil base, and it's my go-to hat. I don't even think I've unpacked my other hats yet. So those have been added to the prize pool. Thank you so much to designers and makers who have gotten in touch with us to donate prizes to this now annual make-along, which I love. Okay, now we can get into the crafting. Starting off with what am I wearing? I am wearing the Land of Sweets cowl by Helen Stewart. Ta-da! This is out of an advent calendar my friend Lauren made me last year. We are doing it again this year. And I believe we're doing another cowl. I have to double check. It's from Helen Stewart's Knit Vent of 2017. I really want to knit it out of one skein of yarn. I held double with mohair because I feel like it would be beautiful. I am also wearing the Branches and Buds pullover that I knit with Blacker yarns in their Brushwork base from their 12th birthday anniversary 12th birthday yarn in the Scumble and Impasto colorways. So there's our handmaids. I'm also wearing socks, but they're covered in dog hair, so I'm not going to show you. Sorry, not sorry. And with that, let's get into some finished objects, because I have a couple. The first one was a test knit I was working on for Meg from Bad Wolf Girl Sits and Knits and Bad Wolf Girl Studios, and that was her, or is her, still is, her sea glass tank top. This is a racerback tank knit top down with an I-cord edging and this beautiful feather and fan lace detail. I hope this is in focus. I really have no idea. On the bottom, I knit this out of my hand-dyed yarns in the Liberries Volume 1 colorway on the Isaac base, which is 100% superwash Polworth in a fingering weight. This was a super fun, super easy knit, very mindless once you get past the armholes. There's a little bit of waist shaping in there. I did do it because I was following the pattern for the test knit, and it is longer than I usually wear my tank tops, but I feel like this will be super cute in the summer with leggings. Or if I knit it again, I think I'm going to crop it and make it a really cute cropped tank top. The pattern is up on Ravelry, and she has just been cranking out color work designs all winter. Girl's a machine. I love it. So yeah, this has been done about a month and a half now. I finished it right after Rhinebeck, so, oh no, maybe a month. Maybe just a month? I don't know. Days are hard. It did make its debut at the New England Fiber Festival, and everybody loved it, so job well done, Meg. I believe I knit that on a size 5 needle. I think I went down a needle size. than what the pattern called for. I could be mistaken, and I'm not talking to the camera. The other thing that I have finished is a pair of socks. Finally. I don't know how many socks I've knit this year, but I feel like this is the only pair. I know I finished at least one more, but for the life of me, I cannot remember what it is at all. Maybe the socks I'm wearing. That could be it. It might be these ones. I should go back and check. This is why people have Ravelry pages. Not me. This yarn is by Melissa from the Spicy Homemaker Instagram, and oh man, I even had to re-record and I didn't write it down. She has a new audio podcast that I will be putting up here. She gave me a ball of this yarn last Rhinebeck, or 2017 Rhinebeck, and so I knitted up for 2018 Rhinebeck. I did afterthought heels and rounded toes, and these are mini skein from Hugh Loco from her surprise party shawl kit, because mom did not like the green, so she gave me the green and got a new green. The end. It is a 64 stitch on a US 1 2.25 millimeter needles. I believe they were Hiyas. I could be mistaken. And I just did a 2x2 rib and a little bit of an extra long leg just because I needed something to knit on. They were my movie socks, my travel socks, that sort of thing. Was I even knitting on these in Nashville? I might have been. It's totally possible. And all the ends have been woven in, so I can promptly wear these now that they've been shown on the podcast. Huzzah! Finally! They've been sitting on my shelf for about 2 weeks now, just waiting for me to record. Right here. They were sitting right here. I'm trying to slow down, but once again, I sit down and record, and I'm starving. But if I eat beforehand, I'm just gonna want to take a nap. The last finished object I have is some spinning. I have finally finished my Behind the Rain bat from Classy Squid Fiber Co. This is a traditional 2-ply of her Behind the Rain, which is part of her Jonathan Strange and Mr. Norrell inspired bats. So the fiber content is Rommeldale / CVM, Mulberry Silk, Firestar, Silk Noil, and Angelina, and I spun it with some Angora, some purple Angora I got from the Coventry Farmers Market, and then some cream Angora that a lady in my knit group gave us because she has Angora rabbits. Did she? Does she? I don't remember. So I held one ply. One of these plies has Angora in it, and the second one does not. I really enjoy how it looks now that I haven't looked at it in a while, but I don't think I like spinning bats. A very textured hand spun is usually not what I go for, so I think it's beautiful, but I don't think I will spin with a bat again, and the Angora just proved to be very difficult because it is a very short staple length, and I was trying to just hold it while I was spinning the other. So I think maybe if it was in something with the bat, it would be easier, but I'm not sure. So my plan is to de-stash the rest of the Angora. I do have a de-stash Instagram account. I just have to get it up and running. I have to put stuff on it. That's the trick, right? So I don't think I'm going to be getting bats in the future, but who knows? Next year I could just only be spinning bats. I told you it was, I want to say it's a worsted to a chunky weight depending on where you measure it. I haven't done a reps per inch on this yet, but it's about 5 ounces of fiber, and I got about 223 or 233 yards post-washing. So there we go. My plan is to do a textured cowl with this and use it for a Christmas present, because the pain of me trying to figure out how to spin that Angora is just too raw. So there we go. And it's very soft because of all of the silk in Angora. It is very next to skin soft. So I feel like this would be a really good cowl for a crafty person who doesn't knit. Maybe this Christmas, maybe next Christmas. We'll see. I do have some friends I don't see until New Year's, so I do have time. There is the Classy Squid sticker. I do have her Rolags from the Doctor Who Christmas special that I'm very excited to spin up. I have never Oh no, I spun Rolegs once, but I made them, so they weren't really Rolegs. They were more just like trying to be Rolegs. They were like the first ones I ever made. So I forgot where I was going with that again. Alzheimer's. Oh no, maybe it was 4 ounces. It might have been 4 ounces total because this was only a 3 ounce bat. You should write this stuff down, Gabby. You should write this stuff down. I do want to spin a lot. I just have to schedule in some spinning time and sit down and actually spin. That's the trick, isn't it? Actually spinning. Now that we finished finished objects again, let's go into whips, starting with the socks. These are living in my enamel pin bag, which has a couple new ones that I will go into later. And I don't remember if I showed you these yet, but I did finish one of the Winter Rose socks by Helen Stewart. This is part of her sock society that she launched this year. And I did Mina Phillips' mini heel flap and gusset and the garter German short row heel. But I started the second sock and did the leg and promptly ignored what I did on the first heel and did a stockinette heel on the second one. I'm only really sad that we don't have the original footage of me realizing this because it was pure shock and a little bit of anger. But now I'm past it. I'm not ripping back. I could, but I'm not. Nope. Knit the heel once. I'm done. It's socks. No one's gonna notice except me, which is fine. Ugh. The colorway is Tell Me to Smile One More Time on my penny base, and this was for the Tits Out collective that went on in early July. I believe July 1st everything launched. So I put a skein aside for myself because I loved it so much. And this was my Thanksgiving knitting. So I did about here to here on Thanksgiving while we were at Jake's Graham's house, playing cards and eating pie and just sort of hanging out with his family, or his mom's side of the family mostly, and his older brother and older sister and their spouses and children's. So there we go. I'm doing the 64 stitch count version on US 1.5, 2.5 millimeter Knit Pro Zing DPNs. They're, I would say, my favorite needle. I do want to get the circulars. I have one pair, but the cable's too short for socks. So one day I will have circulars of them. Christmas list or birthday. Still don't have Sock Mojo. This has not brought it back, but I would like to get these done before the end of the year so I can have some clear sock needles, sort of, in a way. There's not a lot left. Once you get to the foot, it really flies by, and these have become my dyeing socks that I pick up while I am dyeing and work on a little bit. The other pair of socks I have, I cast on to bring to my friend's wedding. One of my best friends from college got married in early November, so you have to cast on a sock to knit at their wedding, because otherwise what are you going to do with your hands? So I have cast on, let me get the yarn. It's just a plain vanilla sock. I even found my camera remote, but it only takes pictures. This is a Zabra ball that Becky Sorensen from the Stringing It Together podcast and Soprano Knits on Instagram, I don't know why I blanked on that, sent me as a present in one of our swaps. It is in the Oktoberfest colorway, and it's 75-25 virgin wool and nylon blend. And she also sent along a Strumpfwool? I am barely bad at German because I only took one semester of it, and I learned Japanese that year. I can't even explain it. My French teacher in high school spoke 12 languages, so he offered German my senior year, and it was a half-year course, but he spent most of the time teaching everybody Japanese. He was a very good person. He was just could not focus on one language. So this is also a 75-25 virgin wool and polyamide and or nylon. And so this is cuffs, heels, and toes. And I am in the middle of the heel. Did not realize that. And here can I put these on let's put them on a sock blocker. The leg is extra long on this because I was almost done with the leg, and then we went to the movie theaters to see Fantastic Beasts and needed something to work on, so I decided to make an extra long leg instead of trying to hurry up and do the heel. So these are going to be tall socks. There we go. I am just doing a Fish Lips Kiss heel on it because I was in the car when I started. I believe we were on the way to meet a photographer when I started these, so I could not think clearly enough to try and do a heel I needed to look at the pattern for. So there we go. And these just beautiful autumnal gradients. It's my first Sabra ball and I love it so much. I've always eyeballed them, but I've never actually gotten one until Becky sent me one, and it's so good. It's such a good, like, I guess commercially yarn to knit with. I'm very excited to wear these. So yeah, I am knitting them on a size 1.5. Nope, size 1, 2.25 millimeter Hiya regulars, not the Hiya sharps. 64 stitches, and I did a 2x2 rib for the cuff, 20 rows of that, and then until I felt like I wanted a heel is when I went. You know, science and recipe-y. Definitely got a pattern here. No, I don't. And these have been my new car and movie knitting, so I don't expect them to grow too much, but we do have a lot of movies we want to see in the near future, including Aquaman and Venom. What else do we want to see? Bohemian Rhapsody. I really want to see that. And they are living in my Corgi bag that was given to me as a gift, and I love it so much. Did I tell you this is the Oktoberfest colorway? I think I did. So those are the socks we were working on. We were also working on trying to dig up some stuff that has not been finished and get through it. The Electric Love shawl, although this has not made an appearance in a while, but it is the Electric Love shawl by Samantha Guerin. And I have finished the brioche and the first garter section, and now I need to do the lace, which will be the middle, and more garter and more brioche. This looks much shorter than her size. Did I do this right? I must have. Right? I have to compare. Every time I look at it, I second guess myself. She designed it using my hand-dyed yarn, so I am doing it in the original colors, which is this beautiful gray speckled blood moon, and then the contrast color is Like My Cold Dead Heart, and she did it on my Tesla base, which is 70% superwash BFL, 20% silk, and 10% cashmere. And I forget how much I love this base because I don't carry it that often, but every time I do, I fall in love with it all over again. It's such an enjoyable knit. I don't know why it took me so long to do the brioche section. I just don't think I was in the mindset for it. But then once I picked it up again, it just kept going. It basically knit itself. I know it doesn't mean anything because I don't know when I put this Progress Keeper in, but I am using the umbrella Progress Keeper that Hannah from the corner of Craft made to go with our After the Rain sock kits that we did late summer, early September, I believe. So this is now on a knitted home section because I have to at least get the lace in my head before I bring it back to knit group. So I'll probably work on this a little bit. Probably Friday night. Maybe not tonight. Yeah, probably Friday night. It is living in my 100 Ravens bag that I got. I believe it's Stitches. No, New England Fiber Festival. I don't know. It's from 100 Ravens, and it's got ravens on it. I'm losing my mind, guys. The rest of these are new cast-ons because you can't go like 2 months without casting something else on. Have I finished a sweater since I saw you guys last? I don't remember. I feel like I'm missing something major. Just remind me. Yes, so sweaters. So I cast on another sweater because you can't go without having a new sweater on the needles as well. This is a test knit for Sam, and this is her Pine Creek sweater. If you saw us at Rhinebeck, she was my housemate this year. I don't remember what I said in the Rhinebeck vlog. She had a mint green one on, and she is releasing this pattern in January. So I am doing one of the test knits for her. It is a DK weight sweater. I'm using my Isaac DK, which is an 85% non-superwash Polworth, 15% silk. Is that right? Is that math? Yes. In the Fairy Saddle colorway. So you have this beautiful lace yoke and then a stockinette body. I'm on the body right now. So we are in Knit City. We are in Stockinette Island forever. I love this pattern. It's beautiful. The charts are beautiful. The lace is amazing. They're super easy to follow. I just stopped looking down. It was super easy to follow. Everything knits up. This knit up so quickly too. Oh, I love it. I'm knitting it on a size 7. The pattern calls for a 6, but I did a test swatch. I actually swatched for this, and it came out so teeny tiny. So I went up 1 needle size. It does call for, the pattern calls for about 7 inches of positive ease, which I will definitely get with this because it is going to block out a little bit with the lace. I'm just so excited to wear it. I can't wait. I'm hoping to have it done for Vogue Knitting Live. I feel like this would be the perfect sweater for it. I would like to wear this on Christmas, but I'm not going to push myself. I do want to get the back of Jake's sweater done by Christmas because I would like to get his cardigan done by March of next year. I know that's 4 months away, but the sweater's already been on for like a year in the making. Ugh, such a good pattern. I'm very excited for this release. I am alternating skeins like a good indie dyer should with their yarn, since it is indie dyed yarn and you can already see a little bit of a difference between each skein. And I am doing the helix knitting to alternate skeins so I don't get a seam up the back. So I will put a link to Grace from Babel's Traveling Yarn has a really good tutorial on it. I will put a link to that because that is what I'm using as my tutorial. And so far, as you can see, there's no, I feel like this is too tall. There's no giant line where I'm changing colors. I will probably knit on this tonight. That's exactly what I'll do. And this one has taken up most of my knitting time. I did try and get it done fairly quickly because we did plan on having a giant movie day, but the movie day never happened. Unfortunate for us, but fortunate for my knitting because I did not have enough knitwear to work on. I would have had to do afterthought heels on those socks if we did a movie day. This is living in my favorite, by far favorite project bag by Madder Root. And I really wanted to get another bag by her this year. She was at Rhinebeck, and I told myself no, wait till New England, and then I realized that she wasn't going to be at New England, so I didn't get one. But this just means I'll get one next year at Rhinebeck. The last thing we have been working on is also a new cast-on, and it sort of brings us into stash building a little bit, slash the I needed this section, which is what I called it while writing up my show notes. And that is something I got at the Loop London pop-up that was being hosted by EMYAC in New York City. The pop-up was November 8th, 9th, and 10th, and I went on the 8th for like the preview party bit of it with a couple friends from my Tuesday knit group, and I picked up a couple goodies, one of which was these mitts, the Leighton House hand warmers by Ella Austin, and it came with the yarn, which was a Moleview yarn. It's a Wensleydale. It's a fingering weight. Oh God, dropped it. It's a fingering weight Wensleydale of undyed brown Wensleydale and naturally dyed Wensleydale. Say that 10 times fast. And I cast these on Thanksgiving because as soon as I heard that there was going to be a kit, I knew that was what I wanted to get at least. My goal was to buy one thing. I bought 4. But one of them was this kit because I already had the pattern picked out if I bought the kit. I'll show you the yarn first. So we have the undyed and the extremely rare Wensleydale brown one. And the kits came with a couple different colors for the contrast, and I picked, where is it? The ball is so tiny. I can't even find it. There we go. I picked the sage green to go with it. The other options were purple and pink, and I felt like this one suited me the best. So I cast them on. It is one size, fits most, and it called for a US 1. No, 2? It calls for a, what's it called for? It calls for a 2mm needle to cast on. And it's got 72 stitches around. So I cast that on and it was huge. It was like, it could have been my dad. My dad's got massive hands. So, oh God, I almost should rip the needle out. We went up to my parents' house for dinner for Thanksgiving and I just took a couple rated Adrian's needles and got some double zeros. So this is the first time I've ever knit on double zeros. and recast it on because I didn't want to mess with the numbering because of the color work. So I just went down 2 needle sizes, and it does fit a lot better. It's definitely much smaller. Before it was about the width of my sleeve. So I guess we're just gonna knit these on double zeros. There are Latvian braids, which is the first time I've ever done those, and they were very annoying on DPNs. Not my favorite. But we're past those on this one, and I've started the color work. The chart is very, I'm not going to open it up because the chart's in here, is very tiny. So I need to scan this in and make it bigger because I would like to see this without going blind. So there we go. This is definitely a sit down and pay attention knit. I did cast them on during the parade and then promptly reknit them while rewatching the parade at about 1:30. Now I have needles everywhere. I need to put them. I'm using my kitchen countercraft DPN holder because I've accidentally ripped all the needles out of this twice already. Never again. Gotta rip them out now. Watch. Watch. And it is living in another thing I got at the Loop London pop-up, which was one of their drawstring bags. I nicknamed it the Gryffindor bag because it's 100% Gryffindor, and you can't tell me otherwise. I also picked up the There Will Be Cake enamel pin. I hope this is in focus. If not, I'll put a picture in. And, where'd it go? A skein of Eden Cottage yarns on their Hayton 4-ply in the Hyssop colorway? Hyssop? Hyssop? I don't know. But it is this beautiful, it's probably super weird because of all the lighting, because we went from daylight to nighttime because it's winter. Sea foamy, sage, tealy green, sage green almost. I love it. I really wanted to get 2 skeins of it, but there were only 2 skeins available and somebody else grabbed the other one. So I just got the one, and that's fine. I still love it. It might be a pair of socks. It might go in a shawl. I haven't decided yet. I think it just needs to sit there and be lovely for a while. I've always wanted to try her yarns, so I am very excited that they were in New York so I could see them in person. The pop-up was a lot of La Bien-Aimée, which was beautiful, but I still have a couple skeins from Rhinebeck and the Paris trip, so I didn't want to go too crazy on them. And then lots of kits, but kits for shawls. I'm not really feeling shawls, and it was a wonderful pop-up though. We were in and out in 45 minutes. We planned to be there all night, but it was small, intimate. There was a couple tables. They only let a certain amount of people in because it was the night of party kind of thing. We did get the Loop tote bags, but I don't know where I put mine. It's in the house. I think it's in my tote bag. It was a lot of fun. I would highly recommend, if they ever do that again, going. I was very glad my friend bought the tickets for us and was like, okay, we have tickets, let's go, because otherwise we totally would have missed it. But it was a lovely night. I got to see a couple familiar faces and met a couple new people, so it was just a very fun night out in the city. Very quick. We got Shake Shack on the way home on the train, so that was... Couldn't you ask for a better train snack? No. No, you can't. Alright. Now I have fuzz in my face. Before we do more beyond the crafting things, I do have a couple shop announcements going on. So far the shop updates have been sort of updating as we die. A lot of people, I did a vote a couple weeks ago and a lot of people liked that, but the biggest shop news is the Audrey enamel pins, which are these beauts right here, have been restocked. They are up in the shop, and tomorrow, Thursday at 9 a.m. we will be debuting the Iron pin. Oh, I love him so much. It's a little bit smaller than I thought it was gonna be, which is totally fine. He's still so cute, and he is sporting his Oracle shawl like a champ. So these will be going up in the shop. I love them so much. They're just so perfect. They were so much fun to make. We do have some shop things going on in the future. I will be announcing the 2019 yarn clubs on December 1st as well. I'll be putting them up on Instagram and on the blog post on the website, and I will be doing a special newsletter for them as well. And I think there was one other shop thing, but I don't remember what it was. Besides the trunk show. I think that's it. Pins, yarn clubs, trunk show. So with that, let's do some Beyond Crafting. So if you are not here for not crafty stuff, thank you so much for watching. And if you are, let us continue and do a small wise why of why I disappeared. There really is no why. It's just things got super busy trying to get ready for the New England Fiber Festival this year, which was an amazing festival. It was the busiest festival to date. Over 3,000 people showed up on Saturday. I had such a good time. We met so many returning people, so many new people. It was amazing. Jake worked on Sunday with me. He got a little taste of the local faces that stopped by the booth. So thank you so much if you stopped by and supported or just said hi and showed me your knitwares. We had a couple people bring in their whips to show me. It was wonderful. It was such a good weekend. And then I ended up taking that next week off to sort of reorganize the shop, reorganize the office, do a couple behind the scenes things. And then that weekend was my best friend's wedding and the pop-up. So I did the pop-up and then I went up to her wedding and it was so much fun. I'm so proud of her and I'm so happy to see her now married. We have come a very long way and it was such a beautiful venue and she organized it amazingly. It was just so well done. And then I promptly got sick for a week. So that happened. It wasn't strep, but it was like on the brink of it. I just had a sore throat. I couldn't talk. I couldn't eat anything. I just slept for like 2.5 days straight. And then we started dying for a couple wholesale orders. We just dropped off a wholesale order at Knit New Haven. So they now carry the Marie Cutie and Cecil base. And then where else did we go? Thanksgiving happened. Then Thanksgiving happened. So Thanksgiving Day, we watched the parade. We went to my parents' house. We went to Jake's Graham's house. And then Friday, after we went and got our tree, we started a sort of friend tradition of getting up early and going to the Jones family farm in Chilton, Connecticut and chopping down a tree with our friends Josh and Dana. So we made a whole day of it. And then we went up to Terryville to hang out with a couple other friends that night. And then it's today, which is the end of November now. So here we are, we're back, we did it. We have the trunk show on Saturday, and then we have a little bit of time off to, once again, get a breather and sort of recollect ourselves on everything. I don't know how it went by so fast, but it really did. But we are doing Vlogmas this year, so we're all set up on the intro and everything for that, so we can just start filming and start uploading and going. I'm hoping to upload the previous day's video on the next day, so December 1st will go up December 2nd. We'll probably, because I'll be in the city that night, so I won't want to come home and edit. And we did get a new planner. I don't remember if I told you, but we got one and I think I really like it. I haven't really used it yet. I've just put in major vending dates and the future trunk shows. I'll have to double check to see if I showed you, or I'll show you when I start using it, kind of thing. And we're just really working on I did want to say a giant thank you to everybody who, the last podcast, I believe it was, I asked for sleep podcast recommendations and that sort of thing because I was having lots of insomnia. So I started listening to the Sleep With Me podcast and that has definitely helped a lot. I love it. And I've also started listening to the Happiness Spells podcast, which is about a 5 or 6 minute podcast of, they just sort of list things, but it's a very calming, happy way. I don't know how to describe it, but it's a nice, like, I want to say like 2 come out a week, and then you just have 5 or 6 minutes where you can just sort of sit down and not meditate, but just block everything out and just listen to this for a little bit and kind of center yourself. That's what I've been using it for, just kind of calm myself back down and bring myself back to, not to reality, but just sort of out of the panic that is my whole life at this very moment. So I would highly recommend that. I will leave links, or at least the names and who does them, in the show notes for you, because that has been very helpful. We did start actually wedding planning. We started the real wedding planning. So we have been meeting with photographers over the past couple weeks as well, and sitting down and trying to figure out the big details so we can narrow it down to the little details and start looking at all the things we need to book. And oh god, it's so much. It's just so much stuff. So for that, I believe I've said so before, but I found the Bridechilla podcast, which is saving my life. I love it so much. Even just to listen to her rant, it's so good. It's a very good podcast. So that has been my life. It's been super busy, but also just flying by. So everything I've been meaning to do, I just haven't had a chance to do it. But I'm hoping that next year will be much more organized. Jake and I have both discussed making new habits on getting up earlier and going to bed at a decent hour and sort of redoing the work schedule, because right now it's all over the place and it's not helping anybody. And sort of redoing that because Jake did get promoted, so he is now going into a completely different, not field, but area of the company. So his schedule is about to drastically change compared to his usual crazy hours, and we'll just, see what happens. So things are going to be crazy next year anyway, because we are planning a wedding and a Jack and Jill, and we'll have to move next year, and oh god, it's just going to be so much. So next year's word is organize. I've already decided, and that's what it's going to be. So I may include a little section of how I'm staying organized through the wall calendar and the planner and whatever crazy other thing I try. So with that, I'm going to let you go. I'm going to make some dinner, and then I'm going to go over to my friend's house and get some Christmas lights because all of ours died. So thank you so much for coming back and watching and sticking with our rambly bits and our dog barking. We will see you hopefully next week, and if not, we will see you for Vlogmas. Bye!